Welcome to Freed on Business. He grew up in South Florida, has been in business here since the early 90s, and has closed over $1 billion in deals. He's seen it all. He always has an opinion, and he's always ready to share it. Informed, entertaining, and connected, he has his finger on the pulse of South Florida's business community. He's Jim Freed, and this is Freed on Business.
All right, everybody. Well, we are here today, and we've got Freed on Business for you today. We've got a tremendous show for you today. We're going to get started with my good friend, Annabelle DeGrazio. Annabelle helps my home smell and feel wonderful. The most important thing about a home is that it should be relaxing and comfortable, and Annabelle makes sure my house is that way all the time. So thank you, Annabelle, for that. We'll talk about how she does that in just a minute. Then we'll have Manny Johnson on. Again, it's all about helping people feel good and safe today. Manny is going to talk about his PPE that you can buy online. You can get the individually wrapped mask online. So we'll have Manny talking about that. It'll be great to use them for kids, infants, and grown-ups like you and me. Well, maybe I'm not such a grown-up. And then our second half hour, we're going to have Tom Handler for the second half hour. Tom is the internationally recognized expert on asset protection, founding partner of Handler Thayer in Chicago, with all kinds of famous athletes and entertainers as clients. We're going to talk to Tom about what COVID-19 is doing to the balance sheets of the top 1%. So Reagan, take it away. We'll be right back with our good friend Annabelle, who's going to talk about making your home a castle right after this. All right, everybody. I want to remind everybody we're South Florida's longest running business talk show. And I want to thank our longest running sponsor, our friends at Warren Henry. Hey, when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why I have to call Warren Henry. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar up at their new store at 151st and Biscayne. Remember to go there, say hey to May, and get your service there. They've got all kinds of great service deals right now. Hi, May. I love you. You're the best. Up in Gainesville, they've got Audi. Down in the Keys, well, they've got all their great name brands. What do they have in common? Well, they all are great cars, and they all come with the Warren Henry Advantage. What's the Warren Henry Advantage? Complimentary dent repair. Complimentary service loaner, dynamic wheel protection, key replacement, guaranteed purchase offer, best value guarantee, and the 72-hour exchange. You can take 3 full days to decide that you love your Warren Henry vehicle. So join me, my mom, and my beautiful wife, Vivian. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry. Hey, and give me a call if you need some cash right now. This week's ad said you can't buy groceries with a swimming pool. That's accurate. We're helping all kinds of people. We're helping some folks buy their own home. We're helping folks do a fix and flip deal. We're helping folks refinance a home. My first deal I'm going to have is going to be helping a young man buy his starter home. So if I can help you with cash and capital for real estate transactions, both residential and commercial, give me a call at 305-773-6300, because when you call me, it's all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
We are on with my good friend, Annabelle DeGrazio. Annabelle, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Jim.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure. Now, I want to show you what happens when I come home and I'm greeted by this face, and it's all lit up and it's all warm and it smells like a baby's butt. It's just delicious. And then I have this one on the front. It looks like that. On the back, it says love is everything. I don't know if you can see that there, but that's what it says. And these are the kind of things that Annabelle brings to my house with my wife, Vivian. They work very hard to create an environment of love, kindness, and happiness. And Lord knows we need more of that in today's world. Welcome, Annabelle. Tell us a little bit about your firm, your products, and how you got the idea.
Sure. So we're located here in Wynwood, so not too far from you. And about 3 years ago, my co-founder and I were lawyers at Greenberg Traurig, and we had this idea during holiday season to gift to our secretaries custom candles, but it didn't exist in the way that we wanted it to. So, my secretary loved her cats. I wanted to put her cats on a candle, but it wasn't possible. So once we started with this idea, we kind of kept going, and then eventually here we are. And so really the idea behind, Taja is to be able to customize everything completely. So just as you showed us, you can put a photo of your dog, your family, really anything. You can put any text you want, exactly. So you can put it anywhere on all four sides of the jar. And then we also allow for the lids to be engraved as well. So, for example, this is a baby announcement lid. And you can see, they have the date and the weight and the time that the baby was born. Exactly. There you go. So
this is tremendous. So how do you pick the fragrances that go into the different candles? Because the fragrance, when I walk in, I feel the warmth of the candle light. Oh, I'm getting like goosebumps while I'm talking because I'm living it while I'm doing it. And then it smells delicious, and it's become the smell of my house. It's how I brand my house to myself. And, people don't realize it's not only sound and taste and sight, it's also smell.
Absolutely. So we have about 12 different fragrances, and the idea is really to give everyone an option. So we have floral, we have fruity, we have masculine, we have more like woodsy. So it really depends on what you're looking for. We also offer fragrance free if people are sensitive to that. We also have a fragrance called Bugger Off, which is perfect for Miami in the summertime because we have so many mosquitoes and mosquitoes love me. So this one is my personal favorite because, it really does work and it does smell nice. So it's the perfect outdoor candle. And it's perfect for the Miami summer. But another really important thing about our fragrances is that they're all toxin free. So they are free of phthalates, which is an endocrine disruptor that is found in a lot of fragrances. They're synthetic free. Our candles are free of parabens. There's no paraffin in our candles. So that's also a really important element when you're choosing the right candle, which, this is the best. But, you really want to make sure that you don't bring toxins into your house. So that's another important element.
So what are some of the more interesting photos that people have used on their candles?
So we do get a lot of baby photos and family photos. For a wedding gift recently, I saw a photo of like the engagement photo. I thought that was so sweet. We do get a lot of cats and dogs. We did have one horse, so that might be the most unique. But it's just amazing. I mean, going from a legal profession to this profession, this is such a thankful job. Everyone is so grateful, and especially, in good times and bad, everybody loves to receive our products. It makes them feel special. It's not just another candle. It's really more personal, and that's the idea behind it. So, the messages that we get and, consumers like you and Vivian, I mean, that like fills my heart because that's exactly why, this brand was started, and this is exactly what our mission is. It's to really, redefine thoughtful gifting.
Well, look, if you look at my background that we're using for Zoom today, you'll see it's helping hands. And the reason that we love working with you is because you're a pair of helping hands. You make our life easier. And when you talk about the difference between being a lawyer and then going into this entrepreneurial business, I think that it's actually similar, because being a lawyer, you're selling yourself, it's entrepreneurial. Doing this, you're selling something else and it's entrepreneurial. But the energy field that you deal with is completely different. And I think that given where we are in the timeline of history, you really made a wonderful choice. Bringing love, joy, and kindness to people is something that I work hard to do every day, and it's what helps me get through today. Everything I do is focused on helping people and making their lives better. And that's why I really wanted to bring you on the show, because you're a very key component to that. The environment that you come home to is so important. And the joy that you give my wife is tremendous. And it's all what you do is, it's the theme of our show. Our theme of our show is that it's all about them. And that's what your product is. Your product is all about the people that buy it. It's individualized for them. It's tremendously beautiful product that I wanted to make sure people knew about, because it's so important to my wife and I. Literally, when she comes home with her new candles, she's sparkling and exploding with love and joy and can't wait to show me. It's so beautiful what you do for my wife and I. I can't explain with enough positive energy what you bring to our home. And you don't even know our home, and you just project into it. It's such a beautiful thing that a person can be able to do. And I really am glad that you take joy in doing that for other people.
Thank you. No, I mean, I feel very lucky to have made the jump and, and to be at the place where we're at right now. I mean, we ship all over the States, and especially with like what's been going on, it's just so nice to read these messages. People aren't able to travel as much now. So it's amazing that you can send something and, brighten somebody's day without being there.
I already know who I'm going to send the candle to. And I'm going to send on the candle. I want to get a series. I'm going to work with you and work with Vivian. Don't want my face on it. I just want to write, "I'm grateful for you" on it.
Love that.
I'm going to send it to people. And I think that if I do that, it's going to have a tremendous impact. I know who I'm going to send it to. I know they'll be very receptive. And in today's world, sending comfort and kindness is one of the most important things you can do.
It goes a long way, more than you know. And then after they're done burning through the candle, they can repurpose it into a jar. And we love to, promote that, because it's amazing, because it's a gift that keeps giving. So once, the fragrance is gone, it's still not over, because you can put flowers in there or your pens and use it, and you're still spreading the good vibes.
Oh, yeah. It's all about hashtag good vibes. Where's the hashtag good vibes? And we use them. We plant our orchids in them. The orchids come, they do their thing, then they're done. Then what are you going to do? I don't throw them out. I regrow them, and I put them in these things. And then when they grow up, I say that we're having a baby, and it's a beautiful thing, and it just drives off all of the love that comes out of the candle. I really want to thank you, Annabelle, for bringing all this to our attention. You want to give a shout out to anybody on your team, your partners or stuff?
Oh, everybody in my team is amazing. We are all women here, and everyone's a rock star. We have not stopped working from day one. I mean, we had to adjust a little bit, but we are strong and relentless, and we just continue to spread the love. That is our goal. Our weekly meetings are always about what are the amazing emails that we've gotten this week. We love to share the positivity, because, that's what we're about. That's what we're trying to do. And to see that come through is, that means we're doing our jobs.
Well, I'm going to invite you back on the show. Rebecca Carlson, our marketing director, is watching. She's in Chicago. I want to do a show just on women and their new careers. I think it would be great to start with Annabelle, and we can bring in Arden. We were talking about bringing in Arden Carson. I think we could bring in, who else could we bring in? Olivia would be great. And I think we should think about more of that. Maybe you can also suggest somebody, Annabelle. Maybe you have one of your clients that we could profile with you on the show that really promotes the energy that you guys seek to share with everybody. So keep thinking on that.
We do have the best clients.
Well, listen, your clients are tremendous. They have to be, because I know my wife is one of them. And so she has to be representative. The people that come to you, they seek out kindness and love. They seek out a way to make their environment positive and to radiate good energy. This is the office of the future we're talking about.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny. We just added a collection to our website, and it's called Spread the Love. And, you know, so obviously our signature item is the completely custom candle, and that's where you can upload an image or a photo, and that's where you can make it completely custom. But, you know, sometimes people their creative juices aren't flowing, or they're not really sure what they want, or they want to be inspired. So we created this collection to kind of help people, you know, spread the love. And so we have like Good Vibes Only on there. We have our, you know, best-selling Hamsa pattern. So like, it's a great way if someone's like new to us to kind of see like what we're about. And, you know, we're just promoting that we want people to continue to spread the love and, you know, spread good vibes.
I think that it's a tremendous addition to your product line. I'm looking forward to getting ours. And if people want to reach out to you and find you, how do they do that, Annabelle?
So you can visit our website, tajacollection.com. That's TAJA collection.com. Our Instagram, which is, you know, where a lot of people love to go because they can see all the fun stuff that we're doing. That's at Taja Collection. You know, and the great thing about our community is that we're very close knit, and so people are always DMing us ideas. A lot of our candle designs have come from our own clients, so it's awesome.
Listen, I can only say that Vivian's comment on Instagram is that Taja is the best and Annabelle is a blessing. I think that if everybody can get an endorsement like that we'd be living in a better place.
Agreed.
Listen, Annabelle, I want to thank you for having such a beautiful, positive impact on every single day of my life. I made it a real goal of mine to get you on the show, to be able to say thank you and to expose my friends to what you do. Hopefully they'll take advantage of it. We'll repost this, we'll social, we'll talk, and we'll look to promote you with the rest of the things that we have on our show. Why? Because we just love helping people achieve their dreams, and we just love helping spread positive energy. Annabelle, thank you so much for being on the show. Again, one more time, what's the website?
www.tajacollection.com.
Thank you so much, Annabelle DeGrazio, true angel, true love giver in our community, for helping me and my wife get through these challenging times. I hope that other people that I know will reach out to you and that you can help them through these challenging times too. It's a blessing for all of us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jim.
It's my pleasure, Annabelle. I look forward to seeing you soon too, when all this stuff goes away.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Mwah. God bless, honey. You know, I didn't mean that in a non-business way. All right. Well, listen, that was great. What a great start for some positive energy. Next up, we're going to have our good friend Manny Johnson. Manny's going to talk about saving the world with his PPE. And if you need some PPE, stick with us. Manny's going to tell you how you can order individually wrapped masks for your kids, and all kinds of other stuff. We're on with Manny Johnson right after the break. Take it away, Reagan. Everybody. Remember, this is South Florida's longest running business talk show. I want to thank everybody for being on today. Our next guest is going to be Manny Johnson. I'm texting Manny the link right now. Looks like Manny's already in the waiting room. High five to Manny. All right. And so let's go to our good friends at Warren Henry. I want to thank our friends from Warren Henry. They've been sponsors on the show since 2012. This is their 8th year anniversary today. High five. I got to have Larry on in July. All right, everybody. When you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar up in Gainesville. They've got Audi down in the Keys. They've got them all. What do they all have in common? Well, they're great cars, and they all come with the Warren Henry advantage. That means complimentary service loaner, dynamic wheel protection, key replacement, guaranteed purchase offer, best value guarantee in the 72-hour exchange. You can take a full 3 days to be certain you love your Warren Henry vehicle. And go in there now on their store on 151st and Biscayne in front of FIU. They've got great service specials. Make sure you see my friend May. She will treat you right. So join me, my mom, and my beautiful wife, Vivian. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry. Everybody, you've been watching the show. You know I care, and I'm interested in making sure everybody has as good a life as possible. I'm doing residential mortgages right now. I'm helping a bunch of friends refinance their house, lower their monthly payments. It's better than a stimulus check. I have one friend pulling out $400,000 out of his house. It's great to have that kind of cash. It helps you feel good in a time like this. You can't spend your swimming pool at Publix. Give me a call at 305-773-6300. I'll treat you with love and caring and kindness. I'm helping people buy their homes, their new homes, their retirement homes. I'm helping a young man buy his first home, one of my friend's sons. I'm helping all kinds of people. Notice the word I keep using is help. So if I can help you, give me a call at 305-773-6300. And yes, I'm still doing my commercial bridge loans. I have one of those working too. So give me a call at 305-773-6300. Why? Because when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
All right, everybody. We are back, and we are back with our good friend, Manny Johnson. Last week, Manny was on talking to us about his new venture. And, at the time, Manny was just doing wholesale. Now, Manny's doing retail also, which means that everybody that's listening can now work with Manny Johnson to get their PPE. If you need masks or let's just let Manny tell us what he's got. Manny, welcome back to the show.
Well, how are you doing today, Jim? And thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate you being able to be here.
My absolute pleasure, sir. My absolute pleasure. Now, tell us a little bit about what you have for sale now on your website. You've got a website. What's the website?
Okay, the website has been around for a long time. We've just, in the past week since our last show, Jim, we fixed it to where people could go on the website and place orders individually. We were only doing large corporate orders, but we found that there was such a need for people because no one could get them, because you would go to your local store and they either didn't have the masks or they were sold out. And so we thought, well, while we have some in stock, we may as well, put them out to the public also. So we, this was kind of, Jim, at your request. You were the one who had this idea. So we just followed through on it. And I'll tell you what, it's like in lightning speed. This is 1 week from when we talked. In 1 week, we had this site, remodeled, retooled, and an infrastructure put in to where people could place orders directly online and have them shipped to them. So I'm very proud of the company.
Manny, I think that what's important here to mention is the sanitary approach that you guys use, because there's a box. I'm holding the box. There's the box. Once you open the box, it's not sanitary anymore unless they're individually wrapped. But yours are individually wrapped. In fact, they can even be resealed, can't they?
Yes, they can. And that was the first thing that our group of scientists saw, was the fact that, if you're opening up a box of 50 and you open the box, the other 49 are contaminated. And you might not be using them at that moment. And I see in many, many of the stores, I don't want to mention any of the names, but stores that we all walk into every day. and they'll have people at the door saying, would you, you need to wear a mask in here. Here's a mask for you. And they'll use like a little, toggle to pick up the mask. But the idea is the mask is sitting in a box that's been open all day. And a lot of times to me, it just doesn't make sense. And it isn't anybody's fault. If I don't know who you would blame on this. Okay. This virus popped up and, it hit everybody by surprise, as hard as it hit and as fast as it hit, created a lot of chaos. We were, as a society, as a world, we were totally unprepared for this. And we are playing catch-up football now, basically trying to, catch up with what this thing is doing all the time. And it's a little bit scary to all of us. It's changed our lives. But there are products that we can use to increase the odds that we don't get the disease.
Now, Manny,
and that's where,
Manny, one of the things that makes you different, that really directly impacts me is Vivian and I, our nephew in Dallas, which is becoming a hot spot, I guess where he has, they have a little kid, and then they're about to have a little baby. Now, I know that they're not going to like having a mask on, but there's going to be times when they're going to need to have a mask, going to Publix, whatever, But are there kids' masks available? Small infants' masks available? How are you addressing that?
Yes, there are. And we are I don't know. I really don't keep up with the other companies because I just haven't had time. What I've been doing is keeping up with what we're doing. But I do know this, that, on March the 20th of this year, which is just a few months ago, we had another FDA approval where they approved the factory, not each individual, what the FDA does is it approves the manufacturing facility and the products that it produces there. So if you've got an FDA, certificate, you're in a vast, minority of companies. And we have one and it's as current as March the 20th of 2020. And that's the FDA, and it's for the mask, it's for thermometers, it's for a whole line of products that when you go on the website, you'll be able to peruse the products and take a look at them. And then if you have any questions, we can help you with the questions. But it's pretty straightforward. The masks are all individually wrapped. That's how you want to buy them. Now, if you are a company, you can get them where they're not individually wrapped still. You can get them like 50 per pack, but that would assume that you're handing them out like as people are, you're handing them all out at one time.
Right.
Which only a company's going to be doing that. Individuals want to get the individually wrapped masks, and I think most people would. So now, I don't want to confuse people with things.
Now, Manny, what specific process did you go through to design your mask? Because there's a lot of these masks out there that are, I don't want to say fake, but are certainly not protective. A lot of people use the outlaw look. You've got 3-layer, 3-ply masks. Tell me what makes them different.
Well, they're scientifically designed. I mean, they have, our whole issue is trying to keep what they call the BFE, the bacterial filtration efficiency. That means the ability to keep something as small as a virus out of it. Any airborne allergen, virus particles, anything of that size, we're trying to keep it to where it's it's equal or greater than 95%. Okay, cloth masks are not going to do that. Cloth masks are not recyclable like they're telling you they are. People take them home, and I know this for a fact because I have friends that are using them, and we've tested them. And they take the mask, and they'll get it from their employer. They take it home. They're supposed to wash it daily. Do they wash it? Most of them do not, because who does a wash every day? And then what are most of our washes? Most of our laundry detergents have been designed over the years to be in low temperature, not high temperature, to save electricity. So you've got something that is really, it needs to be at a boiling temperature, in order for it to, to sterilize. That's what we say, boil it to sterilize.
So not sunlight.
Well, we're not getting to that.
So not sunlight like they were saying in the beginning of the COVID thing. And the other thing is that, my wife gets them, she uses them, then she leaves them on the counter. That's not too good either, is it? No, it is not. If you're not wearing it, it should be put either back in the container it came in, or you'll find on the site there are little holders for them that you can put them back in. And, what we're trying to do is we're trying to reduce. We're not trying to be perfect. We're just trying to reduce the odds of coming in contact with this virus. And the way you're going to do that is not by leaving things out in the open and then putting them back on. And, you'll go, like, I know I'll go into a store or whatever. And, I like if I'm walking in the park or something and there aren't people around me, I'll take the mask and just let it hang from my ear. Okay, on one side, but I have it, okay, in case I need to pop it back on if I come around somebody. And I don't think I'm being paranoid. I think I'm trying to be a good citizen is what I'm trying to do. So I'm trying to protect other people from me, and I'm trying to protect me from other people. So I'm trying to make this a win-win for all of us. Well, look, Manny, I think you have, and I'm really looking forward to helping people with you and being safe. And again, if you could just give out the website, and then we're going to have you on again on regular appearance here. I think even Regan and I are going to make up an ad to run you 3-4 times a show, because this is important info to get out, Manny. Again, what's the website?
Okay, the website is vizwellnesssupply.com. That's
like
V-I-Z.
Right?
Yeah, V as in Victor, I, Z as in zebra, WELLNESSSUPPLY.com. VizWellnessSupply.com. Just go to that website and it will guide you through the products. There's pictures of everything. There's a lot of things. We even have the N95 masks up there if people want to buy them. We've got thermometers, infrared thermometers. We've got dispensers. Everything you could need to begin to make yourself and your family and your community a little bit safer is on this site at this time. The products are FDA approved. This is not a game. We're not playing a joke here. This is the real deal. My name is behind this. Jim, you're behind this. We're trying to help people.
Manny, there's no price gouging. The prices are low. There's good access. There's good get out to the people, good flow of product out. So I want to thank you. We'll have you on next week talking more about this. If people need more information, they'll go to the website or they can call me. Again, thank you so much, Manny. And now stay tuned. We've got Tom Handler in the office here. He's skating around on the back rink, warming up, and we're going to have him on the show right after this, talking about what COVID-19 means to you and your family office and your financial situation. Right after this, our big hitter coming up and playing cleanup, Tom Handler, right after this. Yes, he's from the University of Illinois. He's a famous Illini. That's right. That's right. Orange and blue, Tom. Right after this. Make sure everybody remembers that we're South Florida's longest running business talk show. We're going on 12 years. It's just tremendous. I want to thank everybody for being there for us. When you're, especially our top sponsor, Warren Henry. This marks 8 years of Warren Henry being our sponsor this month. When you're out looking for, that's because I'm so excited about Warren Henry. When you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar, they're all exceptional cars, and they all come with a Warren Henry advantage. That means you get complimentary service loan or dynamic wheel protection, key replacement, guaranteed purchase offer, best value guarantee, and the 72-hour exchange. You can take a full 3 days to be certain you love your Warren Henry car. So join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, and a whole bunch of my friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry. Choose kindness when you need a loan, too. Give me a call at 305-773-6300. Hit me with an email, jim@freedonbusiness. Why? Because when you call me, it's all about you. I've been listening to my friends. They all needed help. They needed a first mortgage. It was crazy. They didn't know how to navigate the new mortgage rules. They got one in 2008. It was easy. They showed up. They fogged up the mirror. They got a loan. Not like that today. Not like that today at all. Most of my friends have only 1099 income and capital gains income, and they can't get a loan. It doesn't matter how much money they make, but I can help. I've got one friend, I'm cashing him out $350,000 from his $2 million home. I'm helping another friend lower his payments by $1,500 a month. Why? Because interest rates are historically low, and there's very few lenders out there, which means it's not easy to find your loan. But when you do, and you get it done right, you can really save money. So allow me and my MBA to go to work for you, my 30 years of experience. I've got a partner. He's got an MBA too. He's got 30 years in the residential game. We're here to help you. So give me a call at 305-773-6300. Still doing commercial deals, still doing bridge loans. Talked to some guy about a construction loan for his apartment project just this morning. So everything's still in play. Give me a call if I can help you. 305-773-6300. Jim Freed. When you call me, it's all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
Right, and we are on with my best friends, certainly in the family office space, Tom Handler. He's an internationally recognized attorney that practices in Chicago, but he's got an international practice. He's the founder of Handler Thayer. Thayer does the real estate. Tom does the taxes. Two really smart guys. They're always out there looking to protect your family. Remember, when it's on my show, it's all about you. Welcome, Tom Handler, back to the show. How you doing, Tom?
I'm well, Jim. Happy to be here.
Thanks so much. It's summertime, but usually you're in Arizona now. Well, where are you?
Well, there's no Cubs, there's no Hawks, there's not much to do. So I've been sitting here at home like everybody else, hunkered down.
Well, hopefully you've been practicing your slap shot.
Something like that. Yeah, I'm ready for next season.
All right. Well, listen, Tom, there's been a lot of changes since we last talked. There's a lot of really scared people out of there. They've seen their portfolios go up and down, left and right. It's almost July 15th, which is the big new tax day. You know, you're the guru. What do people need to know?
Well, it's an unusual environment, and I've rarely seen things this erratic. So in addition to the wild bipartisanship that we've seen ever since Trump got elected, the Democrats have never acknowledged they didn't win the election, and it's been a battle ever since, almost a civil war without any shots being fired. The markets have been erratic. You've got unparalleled lawlessness that's been tolerated in view of recent weeks, people destroying public property, private property, businesses, firebombing police. And this kind of craziness does not allow people to settle down and relax. And of course, the COVID environment just layers on top of everything else and makes it more difficult. Many people have lost their jobs, are furloughed, have had their pay cut. You put this all together and then throw an election on top of that, and you've got a really volatile environment. Now, on the tax side in particular, what's driving additional distress is the Biden tax proposals, which anyone who is paying taxes, which would be the top 50% versus the bottom 50% that pays nearly nothing. The 50% on the top half have paid more tax almost every World War II. Under the Biden proposal, they're going to be paying a heck of a lot more. So someone's going to have to pay for all these COVID handouts and loans and entitlements at the state and federal level. So the writing is on the wall. Taxes are going to have to go up, and it's going to inordinately fall in the top 10%. We're going to end up paying, as usual, about 90% of all taxes, although they won't get credit for that in the newspaper.
No, they're the people that everybody points a finger at, Tom.
Yes, because it's your fault, Jim. You did it. Everything that went wrong, it's guys like you that caused the problem. So I'm sorry you went to school and sorry you worked, but you're the cause of all evils that are out there, which of course is a bunch of tripe.
It's the American way, the American dream, you know?
Yes.
So Tom, you and your team go out there, you survey the rules and regulations, you make sure everybody pays their fair share, but notice I said fair share. So, you know, there's a lot of things that are going on. What are some of the things that you're telling your clients that, you know, we need to know that isn't really proprietary? Of course, we love to know proprietary stuff, but, you know, gotta sell something.
Well, some of the more common things. So first, taxpayer flight is a huge issue. And by that, I mean flight of trusts, portfolios, family holding companies, businesses, and individuals. And they're not surprisingly leaving the bankrupt blue states. And Trump kind of overstated it. I think he said something like the 19 states with the most criminality, worst economies, and most bankrupt are all Democrat. And that wasn't true. 19 are Democrat and one is actually an independent. So we have to correct the record. But Illinois, where we are the highest overall taxing state and the number one most bankrupt state, and we are the state that has lost the most people. But all of the high tax states are getting slaughtered. So in particular, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Illinois, California are the big losers, and the population is running out the door. Illinois is losing about 350 people per day. And by the time the people go, we've already moved the businesses. They've gone over the border into Indiana, Tennessee, Iowa, Wisconsin, where the taxes are more reasonable and the politicians don't come over to shake you down. We're also the most corrupt city, Chicago, but only the third most corrupt state. So we got beat out by New Jersey and Louisiana. So we have that going for us. So the businesses have moved. Family holding companies have been moving out of here for a long time. They'll go to states with favorable tax attributes. And then trusts as well. There are strategies to move trusts to states where you don't yet end up with onerous taxation. So by the time the individuals decide to leave their friends, their families, their places of worship, where they grew up, and move someplace else, everything else is already gone. So that's become a spectator sport. And we engage in those transactions on almost a weekly basis. And that's going to continue for a long period of time because taxpayers really aren't comfortable paying onerous tax rates. There's a level at which they just won't pay anymore, and at that point, they'll do almost anything to avoid it. But
Tom, one of the things that we've seen, and I want you to think about this, then we'll come back after a quick break, is a lot of the family-owned businesses, the big businesses, have had interruptions. They collected some PPP, maybe they didn't, and now they've been interrupted. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about how you address that, or are you seeing some of the family offices dealing with business interruption and insurance claims?
We are, and a lot of insurance companies are fighting those business interruption policies, taking the position that COVID is not a covered event. We'll see how that shakes out in the court. But in the meantime, the insurance companies are holding the money in many cases. The taxpayers are not getting the revenue. The PPP money may be keeping them alive for a period of time. But many of those businesses, in particular entertainment venues and restaurants, closed during COVID. And now these riots destroyed them, burnt them, smashed all the windows, destroyed the inventory, further insult upon injury. So many of them are going to go under anyway. And the last 3 or 4 weeks of rampant lawlessness pushed a lot more of them over the edge. And it's indiscriminate. These people were destroying Hispanic, Black, white-owned business. It didn't matter. They're just criminals destroying property and pillaging everything under the sun, looting everything they could steal, including in some cases, they took the mops and brooms and cleaning supplies out of the retail stores.
Unbelievable.
it's a situation
I want you to hang on for just a minute. We're going to go to a quick break, then we're going to come back and we're going to get your thoughts about what's happening between now and the election and a little bit about what you see as the tax proposals of both candidates right after this. Lots to talk about, not a lot of time, so I really appreciate you. We're going to go rapid fire. Reagan, let's go out real quick. Let's come back real quick. We got a lot of time to do here. All right, everybody. I'd like to remind everybody that we're South Florida's longest running business talk show, and I'd like to thank our sponsor, Warren Henry, who's been with us this month. It'll make 8 years. I guess we sell a lot of cars. Hey, everybody, when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar. They're all exceptional cars, and they all come with the Warren Henry advantage. And that's complimentary service loaner, dynamic wheel protection, key replacement, guaranteed purchase offer, best value guarantee, the 72-hour exchange, which means you can take 3 full days to make sure you love your Warren Henry car. So join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, and a whole bunch of my friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry. Hey, everybody. I'm just here talking about how to help my friends. You know, they call me, they go, Jim, I'm under a lot of financial pressure. I don't really know what to do. My deal's all cratered. My store hasn't been able to be open for a while, all kinds of different things. And what I tell them is the following. I hear you. It's not going to be easy. I want to help. One of the ways I can help is to leverage somebody's house. They can pull money out. I've got a friend of mine who's a developer. All he gets is 1099 income and capital gains. Tom will tell you how hard that is to finance that guy. I'm going to help him pull $300,000 out of his home he can put on the side to do his next deal or to just feel safer. Another friend, another developer, I'm pulling out a whole bunch of money. I'm lowering his cost $1,500 a month. Another developer friend of mine, I'm helping his son buy his first home up in Orlando. And there's all kinds of investors I'm working with too. Everybody, commercial, bridge loans, got those too. Saving deals left and right. I've got 11 deals scheduled to close between now and the end of September. So give me a call at 305-773-6300. I want to use what I know and the people that I know to help you and your family get through this together with me and everybody in the community. So give me a call. When you call me, it's all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
We're here with my good friend, Tom Handler. Tom is probably the number one, well, he is recognized every year as the number one asset protection and tax attorney in the world. Tom is here on our show. I want to thank him for joining us and telling us his thoughts and what he sees going on in the family office world and the high net worth investor world. So, Tom, we left off the 10% of the people who are going to fund all of this. How do you make sure that they only pay their fair share and not something that's unfair?
So the moves taxpayers can make, assuming that rates have to go up regardless of who wins the election, COVID's got to be paid for. If Biden gets in, the rates will go up significantly and taxation will be increased quite a bit more. So an even more drastic increase. But in either scenario, the typical strategy is to accelerate income to this year and deductions, which means if you have gains you can take them now while the capital gains rates are low, take them now while ordinary income tax rates are low, and push off your deductions into the future because the deductions will offset higher rates that we're expecting in 2021 or beyond, again, depending on how the election goes, but they could go up for both parties to fund this COVID mess. The caveat to that is that part of among the Democrat proposals, you remember AOC said there shouldn't be any billionaires. Why do we allow billionaires in this country? one of the recommendations is to take away the Schedule A, which means no home mortgage interest deduction, no real estate tax, no sales tax, no personal state income tax deduction, no medical expenses, and no charitable deductions. They would all go away. So the writing on the wall would say, if you don't want to take a chance, you might want to accelerate those deductions to this year and not wait until next year. And that's probably a pretty reasonable strategy, because if something happens next year, the law will likely pass in the first 6 months and be retroactive till January 1 of 2021. So 2020 is the time to do it. And because of that, that's going to drive gargantuan estate planning in the fourth quarter. 2012, in the fourth quarter, when the law changed, was the busiest time in the last 150 years for estate planning. We could see the same sort of activity in this fourth quarter for the very same reasons. Under the proposals, right now we have a very generous lifetime exclusion of about $23 million per couple. It's by far the biggest thing we've ever seen. At the same time, we have these historically low interest rates that no one can remember ever seeing, and a lot of economic distress. It's almost the perfect storm for major estate planning. And so we're advising people, if you haven't used up your exclusion amount, which you can use during life by making gifts, or you can wait and save it till death, using it sooner means all the appreciation on the gifts you make avoids estate tax. So using it sooner is better, but using it sooner is even more important if the exclusion amount goes down, which it could go down precipitously. And the proposals have been anywhere between 2 million and 5 million. That's a big drop, which then translates roughly to 10, 11 million per couple or 4 million per couple. So it's a huge reduction, particularly if you leverage those transactions, you can transfer an awful lot more money. So using that exclusion is going to be the primary focus between now and year end. And this has an income tax impact as well, but it's primarily driven by the estate tax. And what people are going to do primarily are use intentionally defective trusts, because you can make very substantial gifts or have that trust buy assets, and the settlor or the parent or the grandparent can pay the income tax for the child or the grandchild. It doesn't count as a gift. So it works for estate purposes and not for income tax purposes. That defect is intentional to allow the taxes to be paid. It's very impactful. Typical grant to retain annuity trust. This is what Sam Walton made famous. Part of the reason his 2 daughters are among the 10 wealthiest women on planet Earth. Grants are a good thing. And the third are dynasty trust, which is a trust that once it's in this vehicle will never pay an estate tax, a gifts tax, a generation skipping tax, income respect of decedent, a state estate tax, or a state inheritance tax. And all those transactions can be done naked. I mean, you can just put the asset in there and let it go. The smarter taxpayers, the more sophisticated taxpayers, will first put the assets into a family holding company, like a family limited partnership or family investment company. Those entitle the assets to a discount, so far more impactful transactions can be done. And those interests, rather than the underlying stock or business or real estate, can be used as a subject matter of these IDITs, GRATs, and dynasty trusts to leverage these transactions up. And in fact, the magnitude of what we can get out of an estate is in the neighborhood of $100 million if we did this transaction at its highest possible level. But those numbers can be dialed down, and they're very, very impactful. So we expect a lot of these gifts, a lot of these transfers will be put in place between now and year end. And that's primarily how I think people are going to spend their time. And then picking up the nickels and dimes on the couch with income tax savings, funding qualified plans, taking deductions they can take, getting the income tax at a lower rate, and pushing off deductions that are likely not to go away is my best guess.
Wow. I know I have a lot of friends that to take advantage of that. One of them's watching, my friend Jay. Jay, you need to talk to me, and I got to get you to Tom right away. So, Tom, we've only got a couple of minutes left. Tell me what your clients are talking to you about from a business standpoint. Most of your clients own multi-generational, large corporate businesses. How are they dealing with COVID-19 and the way that it's impacting both them and their employees? Because I got to believe a safe place that's that treats their workers well is going to be the place people are going to gravitate to as things calm down here.
That's exactly right. So I think the distress caused by COVID has been felt by almost everyone. The furloughs, the pay cuts are very difficult to avoid. It's a tough situation. I think those employers that have hung on to people if they could, or put them on part-time so that they still have a livelihood and benefits, will be remembered. And as things improve and the curve flattens out, which appears to be starting to already, despite spikes here and there, those firms will be remembered. And I think that those who allowed people to work remotely, cut hours, tried to hang on to as many of their staff as possible, those that did it successfully will be rewarded. Unfortunately, we're going to lose a lot of businesses. A lot of small businesses are going to go under. And unfortunately, that's just an inescapable conclusion. So I think many of the families are doing everything they can to really take care of people, and the business owners are doing everything they can to hang on. And in many cases, if they aren't, it's because they just don't have the ability to, that they're getting hammered so hard that they just can't fight the storm, and they're going to have to give up.
Now, Tom, I know you and your team work with a lot of philanthropies. A lot of your clients, you help them set up tremendous gift-giving vehicles. We've got about 5 minutes left. Can you profile a couple of your clients that don't mind if you talk about what they're doing to help to help the community, either with COVID or with the coming together? Because I know you've got a very diverse client base. Maybe some of them are having some social activities that we should profile.
Absolutely. There have been a lot of, a number of families have sponsored meetings and forums for discussion, much along your ad of being kind, be nice, treat people the way that you want to be treated. But on the charitable side, an awful lot of funding, because the focus has been largely on race relations, rightly or wrongly, but it's going to create some positives. So I don't like the message. I don't like the blame game. I don't like the lack of accountability. But the cause is a good one, and that is we want to eliminate any kind of biases or prejudices. So a lot of money is going into off-the-street clubs, programs that target at-risk youths. In particular, one of the national foundations that also operates in Miami is getting at-risk youths, almost all minorities, off the street, out of gangs, and into music and more favorable forums. A lot of those similar type organizations, the off-the-street clubs, the Northwestern Settlement House, Jane Addams Hull House, those organizations are all over the country. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has a fabulous program for inner-city kids, sends them to summer camp and gets them in an environment where they have more positive experiences, and they meet a father figure. Many kids, for the first time in their lives, they have someone they can relate to and mentor. And so those programs have kicked up into high gear, and people have really opened up their pockets, and it's really been very, very positive. So I love seeing that. I have no appreciation and can't justify any of the lawlessness, which I find inexcusable, but the outcome of the outpouring of people and giving to these causes, despite how it was handled, is really very reassuring and admirable. And so I'm love watching it, and it's very encouraging, and I hope it continues.
I'm sure it will. I have a number of friends that are involved in making a real big change. I know that both political parties really want to make it happen, but I don't think it's really about political parties. I think it's about people. And I think that the will of the people is to just come together. And so there'll always be outliers that are driven by hate and anguish, but there'll always be people in the middle like you, and I'm going to say it like me, and we have friends in your firm that do it too. Andrew, the rest of the team. It's all about making the world better. So I want to thank you for coming on the show and sharing your ideas. People pay a lot of money to go hear you speak, but you come on my show and you speak to our audience from the heart. And it's really a wonderful thing. I'm sorry I couldn't play your intro. Facebook is all up on our, all of the music we've been using. I do want to get together offline. I'll arrange it with your team. I do have a great group that's working on business interruption. They're sponsors on the show. It's the Garfinkel Law Firm, Lerner & Rowe. They're a national firm. We'll talk to you about that. And if it can help any of your clients, we'd love the opportunity to help make people's lives better. But having you on the show, Tom, always does that for us. You always deliver. You always are insightful. And we really appreciate your take.
Well, you're very kind. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be on. And I hope that you and your friends and colleagues and family stay healthy and stay safe.
Thank you. Best to you and your family as well. Safety and good health. We'll set up with your team to talk offline about more new business. Thank you so much, Tom Handler, for being on the show today.
Thank you, Jim.
My pleasure. All right. What a great show we've had. Everybody from Tom Handler talking about protecting your assets and charitable contributions to Manny Johnson talking about protecting yourself and your family and your community, to Annabelle, who told us how to have a beautiful, wonderful, positive environment. It's been a great show. I want to thank everybody. I want to give a shout out to the first responders and to our health heroes. I want to thank our sponsors, Warren Henry Automotive, now for a 9th year. I want to thank Creco AI, Carlson International, the NFL Alumni Association, Turkel Brands, the Bergstrom Center for Real Estate Studies. Of course, thank you to you, my listener. Please go to our Facebook page, Twitter page, LinkedIn, everywhere. We're everywhere. Join our community. Give us feedback and comments. Tell us who you want to hear from at Jim Fried, at Fried on Business, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. The website gets thousands of hits every week. If you missed today's show, Reagan will have it up on the internet on friedonbusiness.com presently. This is Jim Fried for Fried on Business. Look for us next week at noon right here, where we're going to have some more tremendous content. It'll be a positive way for you to build on your day and feel tremendous. You'll be able to take away things that you learned on that show, and you'll be able to make your life better that day. Thank you so much, everybody. God bless you. God bless America. Remember, the person who wants to do something finds a way. The other finds an excuse. Now go out there and make it happen.